Please remain standing for the national anthem, sung by Stevens Senior Ariana Neal. Thank you, Ariana. You may be seated. Good evening. I'll do it again. Good evening. This is going to be interactive. I am Dr. Diane Lynch. I am the president of Stevens College. And on behalf of our faculty, staff, and administration, it's my real pleasure to welcome you to the commencement ceremonies for the spring 2021 graduates of our Masters of Education in Counseling, Health Information Administration, and Health Information Management programs. Okay, that's an applause line. Yay! I want to first thank you so much for being here with us. Writers and speakers over the years have often observed that 80% of life is just showing up. Today, after a very long year of Zooming in, we talk about Brady Bunch boxes on Zoom on our screens. It seems like showing up is more like 99% of what matters most. So we are deeply grateful, and I know so too are the graduates, that you are here. You have traveled, you have scheduled, you have found ways, you have brought beautiful babies to be here with us tonight. And I know that those of you who could not join us here on campus, many of you are also joining us from afar. We are grateful that so many of you have taken the time out of your busy lives to join us. And now that you're here, we're going to do everything we can to keep you healthy. As I hope you're already aware, we are health screening people as they come into the ballroom. If we missed you as you arrived, please take a minute to go back to the foyer, and one of our staff will take care of that for you quickly. We are socially distancing, which means that I will not be shaking your hands as you cross the stage after you've received your diploma. Please know that does not in any way diminish my enthusiasm or respect or excitement about your accomplishments. And we are all wearing masks, except for those of us speaking at the podium, and then, of course, we're very socially distanced. These are the protocols that are allowing us to be here, separate and together. And I want to thank you for your patience and your support. And now to our program. I'd like to thank those who made this event possible. Our accomplished and dedicated faculty, including Dr. Monica McMurray, Professor of Fashion and Faculty Chair, who is serving as our faculty head marshal, and Assistant Professor Mike Burke from our Performing Arts program, who has mentored and supported the talented tech students who are making our AV work flawlessly tonight. I'd like to thank our remarkable and committed staff, including the entire commencement committee, and in particular, Lita Pistono. She's the executive assistant in the president's office and the woman in charge of the planning and logistics for these uniquely complicated and very special proceedings. We will have 4 commencement ceremonies today and tomorrow, and each one of them is incredibly important and unique and valuable and special and complicated. So I want to particularly thank you, Lita, and for everybody on the committee who's made such a difference for us. Please join me in acknowledging these remarkable members of our community. Finally, I want to recognize and honor those of our graduates with us tonight who completed their degrees at Stephens College in the spring of 2020, at the height of the COVID pandemic, and during a time when health restrictions disallowed any formal celebration or gathering. Remember that? Remember those times? We sent everybody home in March in a space of 3 days. It was heartbreaking. It was such a disappointment to have to cancel our commencement ceremonies in May, and then we promised we would have them in August. We promised we would have them in August. The health department said, no, we're not having them in August. So tonight, those students, in the presence, I hope, of their loved ones, finally will experience and celebrate this rite of passage and tradition that they so proudly have earned. I'd ask you to please join me in particularly congratulating them for their resilience, their patience, and their determination that they will get their diplomas up here on the stage, and they get to move that tassel from right to left. So please, join me in congratulating them. Wherever you are. And now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Leslie Willey, the Vice President for Academic Affairs, to the podium.
It is fitting that we honor our distinguished faculty today. The Stephens College faculty has an immense impact on the lives of students, as professors, as mentors, as advisors, and as friends. Each of our faculty has made significant contributions to the college, to their profession, and to the thousands of students they have taught over the years. Would the faculty please stand and be recognized? One faculty member who embodies the dedication and character of the Stephens College faculty was selected this past spring by students to receive the 2021 Distinguished Teaching Award. I would like to especially recognize Sarah Lindy Patel. Sarah is an instructor and program chair of Equestrian Studies. Please join me in congratulating her. Another faculty member was recognized by the students for outstanding advising skills. The recipient of the 2021 Michael Bowling Distinguished Advising Award is Dr. Kate Bernaking-Kogut. Kate is the Associate Professor and Program Chair of English Creative Writing. Please join me in congratulating Kate. Finally, I would like to recognize the contributions of our academic leadership team. Dr. Julia Moffett, Dean of the School of Health Sciences, and Dr. Trish Parsons, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. These academic leaders provide vision, direction, and support to the faculty and students at Stephens College. Julia and Trish, please stand to be recognized. Our graduate representative this evening receiving a Master of Education in Counseling is Amy Lamb. Amy is a lifelong learner who loves cultivating art and beauty, engaging in intense, vulnerable dialogues with diverse people, and critically examining the world around her. A native of Columbia, Missouri, she received her Bachelor of Arts in Theater from Truman State University. In her time at Stephens College, Amy has contributed to the campus community both inside and outside the classroom as graduate area coordinator since fall 2018. Post-graduation, Amy will serve as an elementary school counselor at Gratz Brown Elementary School in Moberly, Missouri. Before I invite Amy to the stage, I would ask that her family please stand and be recognized. Amy, it's an honor to welcome you to the stage.
Deep breath. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. I am honored and humbled by the opportunity to speak to all of you tonight, to my fellow graduates who I cherish so deeply. I'm a crier, y'all. And who I admire so greatly, and to those of you who have supported each of us in our journeys through our individual programs. For your time, encouragement, instruction, supervision, guidance, and love, we thank you. Grads, turn around and thank your families. Wave, clap, do something. Tonight's celebration commemorates a momentous accomplishment for us, the graduates. We set out to complete a daunting task, even before the pandemic started. Through our diligent work with grit and resilience, we have made it to the end. This occasion is special for a myriad of reasons, and a graduation ceremony certainly pays tribute to the time spent over the last 2, 3, 4, or more years working toward these coveted degrees. But I am particularly excited by what this evening's graduation means for the future. The graduates in this room represent an entire class of individuals across the nation who will receive their diplomas this month and begin the work of changing the world. I don't say that to be dubious or with a sense of unfounded optimism. I mean that we will change the world in precise and considerable ways. We, the graduates, will leave Stephens College to become professional members of 2 gargantuan social institutions, education and healthcare. Some of us will find our employment at the cross-section of these specialties, while others will be squarely rooted in the hallmark positions of each field. These industries impact and influence the lives of every citizen, and the roles we play will inevitably do the same, because with realistic vision, emboldened by our education, we will stare directly into the faces of those giants and fight to shake things up. Why? Because we, better than most, understand the necessity to challenge the status quo and to defy expectations. For even in our collective achievement tonight, we are non-traditional. We are equipped for that fight. So why will we take on that fight? Because Stevens College taught us to embrace progress and to revere humanity. This academy imbued each of us with an unfailing belief in the power and the promise of change. And how are we going to march headlong into those towering fortresses? Well, with keys to the front door, obviously. The degrees we received this evening are those keys. Whether in the foundry of fieldwork or the crucible of the digital classroom, we have each forged a unique implement to unlock doors previously impenetrable. Some of our keys are a little brassy, dignified with a bit of a flourish. Some of our keys are iron and already gnarled by years of worldly experience. Some of our keys are plastic access cards, springy with anticipation of that first swipe. And though they are different, collectively, our keys represent both the breadth of knowledge we have acquired as students and the wisdom we have gained in how to effectively apply it. Keys such as ours may not have always been able to unlock the doors we're striving to open, but thanks to the steadfast efforts of those who came before us, our keys can disengage a whole host of locks. And we all know that the door isn't exactly the point. Possessing a key gets us through the door, past that barrier, and permits us access to the room behind it. Moreover, that access grants us influence over the room we enter and everyone who's already in it. Once across the threshold, we, as newly minted, key-carrying professionals, will share our distinct perspectives and confront outdated, rigid, polarizing viewpoints. We will validate the complexity and nuance of human experience, and we must inspire the inclusion of even more diverse voices in the conversations that fill those rooms. We will continue to do the work we began here at Stevens and lead the charge to unlock new pathways to success. So I'll close with this. Let's take these keys that we have toiled and sweat and wept over. At least I know the counselors have wept over theirs. And let's use them. Let's use them to unlock doors. Let's open doors for ourselves, all of the doors we have been dreaming of, every single door that we can find. Let's open all of them. And as change makers and leaders, let's make sure that every door we unlock along the way stays open for those who will follow behind us. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Congratulations. This year, we've selected an undergraduate class representative, Samantha Espinales, graduating with her Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration. Samantha obtained her practical nursing certificate in 2000 from State Fair Community College and her associate degree in general studies from Columbia College in 2009. In 2017, she started her journey to earn her bachelor's degree in Health Information Administration. Samantha has been working for Maritzi Group ISL Homes as a program manager and director of nursing since 2018 and has been a house parent since 2004, providing support and care for individuals with intellectual disabilities and special needs. Samantha lives in Columbia, Missouri with her husband and son. Before I invite Samantha to the podium, I would like to ask her family to please stand and be recognized. Please join me in welcoming your undergraduate commencement speaker, Samantha Espinales, to the podium.
Welcome, everybody. It is an honor to be speaking to the graduating class of 2021, and I want to thank President Lynch and the Board of Trustees and the esteemed faculty here at Stevens. Today is a day to celebrate the hard work that we have all put in since our journey began here, and for me, my journey was a long one. I've been an LPN for the last 21 years, and I worked 4 years in a nursing home before leaving to come to Columbia and work with individuals with intellectual disabilities. And for the last almost 17 years, I've been a house parent to some of these individuals. And I've also been able to work in my agency's administration for the last 2.5 years. During this time, I started work on my general education classes for my bachelor's degree. Of course, as always, life would get in the way, and it took me a while to get all those done. When it was finally time for me to enroll in nursing school, something kept holding me back. I kept having doubts about how to continue with my path in this life. And so when I kept having trouble registering and the advisor said she fixed it, it was a sign. So I knew that I wanted to continue in healthcare. So I started looking at other career pathways and came across health information. And at times, life is funny. As I was searching for a school that could fill all my educational needs, I had searched online for several months, never really finding what I was looking for. And it never occurred to me that what I was looking for was right in my backyard. So one day, as I was looking at the different programs, I came across Stevens College, and I started reading about the history and some of the amazing women that have graduated from this institution. And what was so great to me was the scope of the different personalities of these women. From an actress like Dawn Wells, to a great politician in Emily J. Reynolds, to even a professional poker player and actress, Jennifer Tilly. I must admit that writing my name in the list of graduates from this great institution became a little of an obsession for me. This moment right here makes all the sleepless nights, headaches, and sometimes tears all worth it. I strongly believe that we all have a duty to ourselves to do good things in this life. But more than anything, I feel like I have an obligation to show to my son that no matter how long it takes, you make it. The greatest gift that you can give yourself is to never quit. Taking a break is okay. Sometimes life makes you do it. But you must never, ever give up. And as humans, we are our best when we are doing something to improve ourselves. And in moments like this one, that brings happiness to one's souls and makes this very difficult life one that is worth living. This last year has been the hardest, I'm sure, for most. I don't think anybody could have imagined what COVID-19 and the repercussions that it would have not only on our country, but on the world. Because of COVID, there were lost opportunities for some, more work for others. People had to adjust to learning online. For us, as the online program, we didn't have much to adjust to, but more work for others. The instructors here at Stevens should be recognized for their hard work, that making sure that the programs continued and reassigned work when necessary. And I do want to give a big thank you to the director of the HIA program, Margaret Letta. Her dedication to this college, the program, and the students is beyond what is expected. I'm sure I was not the only one to call her many times. At times I was anxious and unsure if I was going to make it, but Margaret was always there. She was the voice of reason and would always assist with making a plan to ensure that I would make it to this point today. And here I am. So I want to give a big thank you to Margaret Letta for the care and dedication she has to this school and to the students. I also want to give a big thank you to all the families and friends here today and those that have been here for each and every one of us. Having a strong support system is what keeps us as students motivated. I know I wouldn't have made it through without my support system. My husband, who is my rock, my son, who has been understanding of time taken away, and even my father, who has proofread many papers and Excel sheets for me. So graduates, please remember that without those that have supported us, we would not be standing here today. Graduates, as we move on to the next phase of our lives, remember that this is just a stepping stone. There will be failures and there will be successes. And the most important thing is to live our lives to the fullest. Frida Kahlo, who is one of Mexico's greatest painters, once said, "At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can." And I believe that each and every one of us can endure whatever is thrown our way. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Samantha. Congratulations. Now, we move into one of the most important parts of the ceremony. So as Vice President for Academic Affairs, it is my pleasure to present today's candidates for degrees. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration please stand and be recognized? Will the candidates for Master of Education and Counseling please stand and be recognized? And tonight, we're honored to have our first candidate for a Master of Science in Health Information Management. Will you please stand and be recognized? Assistant Professor Brett Olson will announce each candidate who crosses the stage to receive a diploma. Graduates with blue and white cords signify membership in the Pinnacle Honor Society, the honor society for non-traditional students. Before Professor Olson begins, I ask that all candidates for degrees stand so that President Lynch may confer your individual degrees. President Lynch, on behalf of the faculty, I present these candidates for conferring of degrees.
So I am a huge believer in the power and importance of ritual. Rituals mark the changes in our lives, the transformations that we undergo, the people we become incrementally, one extraordinary effort, success, triumph, degree at a time. And so I always ask that you stop just for a single moment and consider, as our speakers have said, what great speeches. Those were great speeches. In these presentations and in graduate speeches, very often people talk about tears. It's because it's hard, and it's exhausting, and it demands so much. And yet this is the moment where you have been headed. I always tell our undergraduate students that you end up where you're headed, and here you are. So I ask that you stop for just a second and own the moment, because it'll be gone like that. It will, and everybody will cheer, and you will be an alum, and you will have earned your degree. We're not there yet, and it's good to stop and be proud. It's your moment. By the authority of the state of Missouri, given to the trustees of Stevens College and entrusted to me by them, I hereby award to you, upon recommendation of the faculty, the degrees that you have earned during the course of your studies at Stevens College, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining, in token whereof you shall be given diplomas. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left. Please join me in congratulating the class of 20 and 21. And now I just have to ask you, although it's rhetorical, what are you going to do with all your free time? Sleep and sleep. Will you please be seated, and we'll come and bring you to the stage, row by row.
Samantha Renee Espinales, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration, cum laude. Amy Elizabeth Lamb, Master of Education in Counseling. Hypatia Claudia Coran Flores, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration with honors. Wanda Renee Hedden McLemore, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration. Angela Christine Hamley Torres, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration, cum laude. Diana Marie Whitener, a Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration with honors. Amanda Kathleen Wilson, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration. Vicki R. Dyer, Master of Science in Health Information Management. Jamie Alyssa Blake, Master of Education in Counseling. Suzanne Marie Evans, Master of Education in Counseling. Caitlin Morgan Hall, Master of Education in Counseling. Leah Helen Johnson, Master of Education in Counseling. Megan Gwen Klein, Master of Education in Counseling. Robert Thomas Lucas, Master of Education in Counseling. Devin Michelle Lynch, Master of Education in Counseling. Hannah Marie Matthews, Master of Education in Counseling. Casey Louise Naros, Master of Education in Counseling. Taylor Ann Scholes, Master of Education in Counseling. Tiffany Ann Skinner, Master of Education in Counseling.
I have to capture the moment. Okay, everybody, let's one more time, loud and proud. Congratulations to the class of 20 and 21. So proud of you all. So, this is the moment in every commencement ceremony when the president has the opportunity and the privilege of presenting the graduates with a charge, which typically has something to do with talking about being the change you want to see in the world. And I'm not going to talk about that, but I do want you to be the change that you want to see in the world. I've been privileged to offer these comments many, many times over my years at Stevens. But today's charge to you, our graduates of 2020 and 2021, is very different from any that has come before it. Your academic achievements merit our celebration and our honor and our pride at any time. But this year, as Samantha so beautifully described, they are a true testament to what's possible when your intellect and your commitment are empowered by your communities of support, your loved ones, who sacrificed, as you know, in some ways differently, but perhaps as often and as much as perhaps you have. We always arrive together. You have persevered, you have triumphed, you have made your faculty and your loved ones so very proud. And in Amy's words, which I love, I love the key is awesome. You are emboldened by your Stevens education, prepared to open doors, every door, and to fight for the power and promise of change. I might use that sometime. Thank you. And this is your time to do that. A time in which our communities are slowly vaccinating their way back to some semblance of pre-COVID normal. Here in Columbia, as many of you know, the health restrictions requiring masks and social distancing expire a week from today. As we return to a world in which strangers shake hands. You know, I was at an event this week and somebody came up to me. I had met the person for the first time and he stuck her hand out to shake my hand. And I had this moment like, what do you want me to do with that? Like, you're gonna, I had the like, wait, strangers touch each other. It seemed odd. And yet, here we are, and I shook her hand and it felt great. A time when we can actually see each other's smiles. Right? Yes. As we begin to consider a time, I was waving at her from up there and she was like, who are you? As we begin to consider a time in which we can reopen and reconnect and reimagine, I urge you to hold on to the silver linings of a year full of sorrow and loss. The freedom of an unscheduled day, and I do say that recognizing that you have been students. So that moment when you think, I can go, you think, I should. No, I can't. I know. It's one of the gifts and glories of being done, is that you don't have to think about that. But nonetheless, for millions, the freedom of an unscheduled day, the calm of a morning walk. I said that, I had put in this script the idea of like an afternoon nap without guilt. And I wrote that and I thought, yeah, I'm not there yet. So, but for you, maybe. The connective tissue that time, lots of time, with loved ones creates. And the clarity of meaning that emerges when the world slows down. So that, graduates, is my charge to you today. I challenge you to hold on to that quiet space within you, to continue to seek out that clarity of thought and purpose. And as educators and healthcare professionals in particular, to keep listening to the voices and lived experiences of those who are not you. To hear the painful narratives of racial and social injustice that have this year captured our cultural and collective attention and engendered our outrage. Perhaps in some ways, because we have had the emotional and the intellectual space to truly hear and honor them. So I challenge you to protect that space and to keep hearing those stories, even as your world begins to rush past you in post-COVID hyperdrive, and it will. And finally, Stevens graduates, I implore you, you who have the talent, energy, education, and opportunity to do anything you dream of doing. 9% of the people in this country have a graduate degree. 29% hold an undergraduate degree. You have just formally become among the most educated people on the planet. And so I ask you to do everything you can to be the leaders your education has prepared you to become. You are ready to live your lives in service to the greater good and to model for those around you. In every meeting you hold, every client you serve, every student you inspire. Our promise to our children and their children that we are a civil society, a community rich in compassion and generous in spirit, and that truly is one nation under whatever God each of us honors, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My thanks to you for being here, for being part of the Stevens family, My sincere congratulations to you all. Thank you. And as we close, Ariana Neal will lead us in singing the Stevens Hymn. The Stevens Hymn is an incredibly important part of this ritual. You won't have completed this ritual if you don't sing the Stevens Hymn. It's in your program, and we can't tell if your mouth is moving because you're wearing masks, but I'm going to trust that it is. So perhaps for the first time, and maybe for the last time, but here you are. So please, and you as well, please join Ariana in singing the Stevens Hymn. And I ask the audience to remain at your seat until the students have processed out after we sing the Stevens Hymn. Thank you so much, and again, congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot, sorry. Thank you.